time has come to face the old beast that is Pitfall. I never finished this game when I was a kid. I don't know a single person that ever did. The only reason I even knew about the perfect score back in the early 80s was because at some point somebody did do it and they had it in the magazines that came out back then. But I never knew anybody that did it. Anyway, a couple of months ago, I have an old friend named Jeff. We've been friends probably since 1989, 1990, somewhere around in there. And he doesn't play retro games or anything like that, but he does watch my videos, and he's very supportive of my work. And anyway, he said, "Hey man, why don't you do Pitfall?" He's like, "Man, everybody loved Pitfall back then. It was a great game." And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, but it seems like it's one of those things that's been done to death. If you look on YouTube, I mean, there's just tons and tons of videos. But I really, I was like, well, I'd like to do one. What could I do to, kind of at least make mine stand out a little bit?" And I was like, why not do a perfect run? I never did it before. So that's what I set out to do. And I never dreamed it would take as long as it did. I mean, I played for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it was just crazy. And that intro I showed you, I could have made that thing a heck of a lot longer if I wanted to. But I mean, you're talking wanting to throw the controller, just getting so frustrated. You get 60, 70, 80,000 points and just bump something barely, and he's like, "Argh!" But I'm gonna do this. This thing is not gonna beat me. And I finally did it. I was so happy when I got it done. And I posted my score over on Atari Age, and a lot of guys were like, "Yeah, way to go, man! Never done that before." So it was pretty cool. But anyway. Let's go ahead. Now, there's no way I could do this live and talk. I mean, because you're just so concentrating on the game. So I did the run, and then I went back and made my video and added my commentary afterwards. So I'm just kind of talking through it as I go. Now, after the run, I got some cool stuff I found in some magazines, some old stuff about Pitfall. I'll show that to y'all. So hang around after that. All right, let's go ahead and get it on. All right, everybody, here we go. Now the pattern to beat the game, to tell you exactly which tunnels to take so you can have enough time and collect all the treasures, is on the internet. You can find it, but you have to go to the right for like 10 screens, and I cannot tell you the number of times I died doing this. It's just a lot harder to go to the right. I think it's hard to jump over the crocodiles. It's just, I mean, you have to jump these logs because they're coming against you. You don't face that often going the other direction because you're going in the same direction as them, so you bump into them. It just, especially after you get tired, you just start just screwing up. It was so frustrating. But I can't tell you the number of times I hit the reset button because I'd screw up. The scorpions too. I don't remember the scorpions being so hard to jump over without bumping into them years ago when I played when I was a kid. But I didn't really use the tunnels that much when I was a kid. I just went straight to the left, and I could usually get like 70 or 80,000 points. I never really tried to beat the game. Anybody who actually figured it out 40 years ago, that was very, very impressive. It would take a lot of work. But yeah, these scorpions, I mean, I would just, oh man, I don't remember it being so hard to jump over those things. They would kill me a lot. It was frustrating because it doesn't seem like it should be that hard to do. I even made notes, from the thing on the internet, telling me exactly which screens, I would need to go underground. And I would write down what was on that screen, like 3 stationary logs, on the screen, or 2 rolling logs, so I would know when I got to it. But I had played the game so much, this took so long that I really didn't even need it toward the end. I knew everything from memory. But there's 32 treasures you have to collect. And when I first started playing, of course, I hadn't played Pitfall in forever. I mean, I couldn't tell you how long it had been. I mean, maybe since the 80s. I don't know. And of course, of course, as you can see, I'm not playing this now. There's no way I could do this and talk and everything. It just requires too much concentration. Now, each time you go underground and go through one screen, it's equal to 3 screens up top. So it's kind of a shortcut. So that's 2 underground screens, 6 screens, but you have to know, which ones to do it on so you don't miss treasures. And I have to go back to the right because there's a treasure a few screens over to collect that. Then I'll go back to the left. But I've gotten to the end a few times, or I should say I didn't. I ran out of time most of the time. I would run out of time, and I would be 1 or 2 treasures short. So what I eventually did was I just went on YouTube and watched somebody else's perfect run, and I even made notes on my paper. I put down the time, like at certain key points throughout the run, like how much time he had at that point. So when I got there, I realized, hey, because when he finished, he only had about 50 seconds left, and he was taking all kinds of chances. Really, you have to take chances. Especially when you're running over the pits that open and close, you really have to take chances and jump over those. Of course, you can't, when you get to the crocodiles like this, you gotta, when you're a kid, you're just doing one at a time and taking your time. You gotta get across as quick as you can. You ain't gotta be perfect, but fly through necessarily, but you can't just do it real slow. There has to be a sense of urgency if you want to do this. Hard to believe this game is 42 years old. And I remember Pitfall. It was definitely what you would call a water cooler game. I was 12 years old when it came out. It's 6th grade. My mom bought this game at Gaylord's department store. I think that Gaylord was pretty much in the southeastern United States. Of course, they've been gone probably since maybe the 90s. Like many of those old department stores, they just kind of, went out of business eventually. But that's where she got it. She actually put it on layaway. I think they were sold out of them because it was so popular. So she just put it on layaway, put a little bit down on it. I don't know why she did that. I guess it's kind of a way to reserve the game back in those days. She could have paid for the whole thing, but she put it on layaway, and we eventually got it. And I took it home, and me and my older brother and the kids from next door came over, because like I said, this was a game that everybody was talking about. It was really kind of a first time thing to see something like this. Sure, somebody who's young now would look at this and laugh, how primitive it looks and everything, but back in its time, this is only 4K, and you think about what they had to do. But David Crane had to do just to pull this off. It's really amazing. Time to go down. 3 logs, I remember. If I remember correctly, this is, the next part is the longest above ground. It's like 60-something screens straight to the left before you go underground again. I remember a friend of mine when I was a kid playing the game, he was like, why didn't he just run behind the water? You can see there's land behind there. That video I did at the beginning, though, I could have made that thing go forever. That was just a small sample of just the frustrating times I'd have, 30, 40, 50, 60,000, or even more points, and I would somehow screw up and bump into a log or fall down into a pit. And it was just, oh my God, it was so frustrating. It really felt good when I finally did it, though. I mean, it was like, yeah. Because I don't know if I ever knew anybody who ever did that years ago. Nobody, I mean, nobody. I remember reading about it in gaming magazines. The perfect score, 114,000. But I never knew anybody that actually did it back, years ago. See these pits and a lot. I mean, it's just like, boy, you see that? I mean, you're cutting it close, but you really have to do that. If you don't, you're not going to make it. And it just takes some practice getting the timing down and everything. It's nice whenever you pop onto the screen and that vine is coming right at you, so you don't have to wait. It's kind of like, see, you can kind of get into a rhythm. You feel like you're making good time. You see how close that was? I mean, if I didn't jump it, I would have fallen in and died. Right there, I could. Lots of times I would barely hit those deadgum logs when they're coming behind you, trying to jump them, and have to start over. Lots of times that happened. I know I died once. I still had one extra life left when I got done. I can't remember how I died. I can't remember if I fell into I call it a tar pit or swamp pit. I probably fell into the crocodiles. I can't remember though. You run the same speed as the logs. So if you see like that, as long as you don't stop, they'll be fine. Looks like they're about to hit you, but they won't. As long as you just keep moving. I think though, I remember it's 2 logs moving, rolling, and 1 ladder going below. I think is the next one you have to go down. It's after 63 or 63 screens. Left for 63 screens. Woo! Talking to some of the guys over Atari age, I didn't even know that somebody had done a mod or a hack, whatever you call it, of this game that had all new screens and everything and changes things up. I'm gonna have to try it out. 3 rolling logs. I said 2. Yeah, 3 rolling logs, 3 holes. It's the next one that is 2 rolling logs and 1 hole, so I kind of messed that up. These scorpions, man, I'm telling you, I was almost scared. I mean, I would mess up and hit them. You know, that first part of the game where you have to go right 11 screens to get that 1 gold bar and then go down. You have to go through 6 screens, 6 scorpions, and I mean, all the time I would hit one of those stupid things, and I would start over. I mean, yeah, you gotta go right and get a bag of. I think there's a bag of money, and then you go back left again for, was it 58 screens. And what I thought before is the next one. It's 2 rolling logs and 1 hole to climb down. And the person who I watched, oh, there's when I died. He got there with 1 minute and 29 seconds left in the game. So I mean, I was watching that. Because like I say, he finished the game with 50 seconds, I think. So there's not a lot of time to waste. Last night I was my wife's nephew, youngest nephew. He's in his late 20s. Him and a buddy, he had a buddy over, and they were just knocking back a few beers, and they were watching some Jack Black skit. I'd never seen it, where it's like a medieval type battlefield, and they're supposed to be pretending to be dead, and I think Jack Black farts, and the other guy that's laying there with him starts laughing, and he's telling him to shut up and all that, and it's kind of funny. But it reminded me of of course, the Pitfall commercial with Jack Black when he was like 12 years old or whatever. And I showed it to him, and he was like, "Holy crap!" I was like, "Yeah, he was skinny, like I was all them years ago." Here's another right there. You got to be real careful there. There's times where I drop off that vine and I wouldn't time it right. Hit a log, reset. Actually, also, I played this game. I mean, this is on Stella, obviously. And I was using a PS4 gamepad. And I got to say, you know, I love the old Atari joystick, but I felt like the game played real good with that PS4 gamepad. I was talking to one of the guys over at Atari Age Again. I spent a lot of time over there, and he was talking about using one of the new controllers for the 7800 Plus, the wireless ones. And he was actually playing Pitfall, and he said it worked really well. Two rolling logs and one hole. Getting close, almost fixing to be there. Oh, screwed up. There it is. 2 rolling logs and 1 hole. I was about to crap myself right now. I was like, man, am I really finally going to do this? Yay! Success! I did it! All right, let's go on and let's learn some more about Pitfall. Check out some cool stuff I found about the game.
This is Pitfall, the smash hit video game by Activision that everybody wants for the Atari video computer system, with scorpions, tar pits, and rolling logs, with underground passages and cobra rattlers, with swamps, hungry crocodiles, and lots more. Don't miss Pitfall, the smash hit that everybody wants. Get it before they're all gone. Pitfall, designed by David Crane. Don't miss it.
Hey everybody, just wanted to jump in real quick and say if you're still here, you made it this far, really appreciate it. And if you haven't done it already yet, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. And if you haven't subbed to the channel yet and you're enjoying my stuff, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. It'd really help the channel to grow. And if you're really enjoying it, please take a second and just share it with your friends who also appreciate retro gaming. All right, thank you. Okay, what you see here is a picture of David Crane receiving the award from Video Games Magazine. It was the first one they ever did at the Winter Consumer Electronics Show in January of 1983. The gentleman who reminds me a lot of Gene Shaller that used to be on the Today Show, his name is, he's the editor for the magazine. His name's Roger Sharp, and he's presenting the plaque to David Crane for one of the games of the year. And I have a close-up of that plaque. You see there it says First Annual Player's Choice Awards presented to Activision. First annual. It's kind of sad because, you know, everything looks so great. When you think back just a year or two later, it's all going to be gone. It still baffles me to this day how everything just went to, you know, just went down the crapper so fast. But there's one thing you got. There's some others. Now, I feel like Electronic Games Magazine from the early 80s was probably the most popular magazine. I could be wrong, but it just seemed that way to me. I mean, I read all of them. But they had something called the Archie Awards, and in 1983 they gave Pitfall the best adventure video game of the year. So there's another feather in Crane's hat. Electronic Games again. December of 1983, the Programmable Parade was actually their review section in their magazine, and of course they gave Pitfall a glowing review. Go on safari with the King of Swing. August-September 1983 issue of Video Games Player. They award Pitfall for the Game of the Year. Another one. Everybody loved Pitfall. Oh, I'll show you another thing interesting about this particular magazine. Check this out. My mom snapped this photograph of me back in 1983. I had been napping in my dad's Lazy Boy. But look at the magazine on my stomach. It's the exact same one I just showed y'all the award for Pitfall for. Now, Vidiot is a magazine I don't remember. Let me know if any of y'all ever read this one. But the gentleman who reviewed Pitfall in that magazine, Kevin Christopher, he starts out, you've seen commercials for this one every day on the tube, and they've pretty much summed up what Pitfall is all about. Hapless Harry, the hero, explores the Amazon in search of lost treasure and stands to get nipped in his booty unless he gets quick on his feet. No, he gives it pretty good. He gives it a good review. He does have one complaint though about the difficulty of the game. Let's see. I have a few complaints. Harry's 3 lives may not be enough for initial players. It's infuriating that after mastering the art of crocodile head jumping a few minutes into the game, a simple slip from a vine will shoot poor Harry right back where he and you started from. But hey, those commercials aren't wrong. It is a goodbye, or in Harry's case, inevitably goodbye. Life is sad, but Pitfall isn't. Kevin Christopher. Over here to Atari Age. Now, I would imagine, I didn't look it up, but I would have to assume that as far as Activision releases go, that Pitfall was the best seller they had. If anybody disagrees, let me know. I think it probably no contest. I know it sold over 1 million copies, but it's not the only one that did that, but I think it was the best seller they had. As far as labels go, they have the regular green and then the blue one, which I always like the regular one better. And they're both 2 and 3 on the rarity scale, just like all the other Activision titles. The one that I bought, that I showed you at the beginning of the video, I paid for the box and everything a little over $30. It was $22.95 plus shipping and sales tax. So you can get a whole copy since it's pretty common. Still for a decent price. It's not nuts crazy like a lot of other games are that are out there. But there you go, everybody. My perfect Pitfall run and a little bit of history behind the game. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Before I sign off, I want to thank Atari Age and the Internet Archive for their fantastic resources that they have for us to use to just keep the memories of these great classic games alive. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and please share. And I will see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.